More recently, I've been moving into a role, strategic advisor, public speaker, all the above kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you must do a lot of this, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a ton of this, exactly.
Yeah.
Right at home.
So, I mean, how did you hear about Cybrary? How did you kind of learn about us?
Well, I was speaking at an AI conference in New York, and you all were there as well.
Oh, okay.
And ran into you at a rooftop bar, and ran into Tom, actually, and and had a great conversation, actually.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the irony here, right? You're at an AI conference.
Yeah.
AI is, if anything, all about automation and speed and doing what humans can't do very well and scale to.
Yep.
And then we run in and talk to Cybrary.
Yeah.
And they're about, obviously, educating this new wave of people that we desperately need in the industry.
Absolutely.
And so the layman might look at those two things and say they're juxtaposed, or they're on two sides of a spectrum. And nothing, when you dive down into the weeds and you look at actual day-to-day SecOps, nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
In order to leverage automation, the challenge is for most people, especially new people coming in, like a SOC 1, level 1 analyst or something, is they might have a specific skill set that is this narrow.
Yeah.
But the security problem, as we know, is very broad.
Yes.
And fast-moving. And unless you have a few decades of experience, in a lot of cases, you don't really have the full mindset for it. And so, if you're not able to learn and you don't have mechanisms to be able to learn the broader security problem, you're stuck doing a role, but you're doing it without context. You don't have the context of business risk. You don't have the context of what you might call just cyber risk, like the very basics, like, okay, if this thing gets through, what could actually happen to my organization, to the safety of my workers in an ICS environment, to uptime of production, to patient safety in a hospital bed environment, right? And so, if you have the education to support a well-rounded SOC 1 analyst, the efficiency you gain from that human is exponentially, and also much less risk employing that person to do a single task.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing that we're kind of pushing for now is with our new thing is security enablement, is that it shouldn't just be the security team's job to talk about security and learn about security, and kind of you're farming all of your security needs out to this one team. Kind of everybody who touches your product from the beginning, conception, all the way to the end, pushing it out the door, should have some sort of security knowledge, that they understand what threats and stuff that they might see, or what they need to do to kind of help secure everything and make everything run a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you're not waiting on a security team. You're not you don't have to go through a whole nother team that might be in a different time zone, different somewhere else to do it. Everyone should kind of have that base knowledge level.
Yeah, you're right. Like, so when people own the security problem together, they can actually appreciate security slowing business down when it does, but they can also appreciate when security itself enables the business.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Security enablement is like this kind of dual purpose word, right? Yes, I mean this applies to what you might call just general hygiene of your workforce, right? Security awareness, like your best IDS has always been, and probably will be for a while, unfortunately, your employees calling you and saying something's wrong with my computer, and that's most help desk, tier 1, right? But beyond that, like that's person-to-person hygiene. But even at a macro level, if you take like the entire Department of Defense, it took them a long time to really learn how to bake security in at the very beginning.
Yes.
So if you have like a 20-year program, and it's $1 billion program, and you have 200 stakeholders in the room, the DoD learned, fairly effectively how to bring in security experts into all those stakeholders and give them a voice, but also give them an authority to actually make corrections and slow down dev cycles and stuff, right? So it's a problem because whether it's a macro level or it's just you and I, if you don't have that security baked into the conversation, everything you do, every business decision you make has security implications with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's what, especially now, hacks are becoming more and more prevalent. They're happening more and more often.
Yeah.
And so people are thinking about it. It seems a little earlier trying to do it kind of what you're saying from the inception of the idea. But it's also kind of a misconception. It's like, oh, well, I can't spend the money on all the security training for all of these extra people. But now people are like, well, we probably should have done that a couple of years ago and not face this giant hack that's caused a bunch of problems or something at our company. I think that's what people are kind of waking up to now, is like, let's spend the money now, let's train everybody up, and then we won't have to worry about it as much in the future.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, perfect.
What else?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, how have you liked BlackHat so far? I mean, what have you seen? What is, anything interesting coming out?
So this is my 20th year going to BlackHat or DEF CON or one or the other, both, right?
Okay.
So, it's kind of like it's been the last 3 or 4 years, and just full disclosure, I think it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
if you really want to know how I feel, right? I think this whole industry needs a massive reset.
Okay.
And I think we've reached this awkward point of like no return, where there are so many vendors collectively perpetuating the security problem and making lots of money from it. And it's not all just because greed or something. I'm not trying to paint a picture of like unethical behavior. What I am trying to take a picture of is that the industry itself doesn't have enough people that have experience. And so when I say the industry, I mean like if a software manufacturer has a point solution, they might have coded this up and they solved this problem, but they might not have a clue how that problem is solved inside organization A, B, or C. And understanding like OPSEC across multiple verticals and different size organizations and maturity is something that like this industry does not get. And as a result, you have all these weird concepts that are just pushing out, like you need 100% visibility, you need zero trust, right? And these are all maximized statements. And there's no such thing as 100% visibility. There's no such thing as zero trust. Honestly, it's a beautiful concept. But to get there, it takes people that are actually aware and have experience, and the industry doesn't have enough of those people. So you're in this era of hyper automation, where you have like AI companies and machine learning companies that are moving everything to the left and trying to get ahead of the threat, which is absolutely necessary, and it's driven by necessity. It's not driven just by some great idea. It's like, this is because we need to do this to keep up with the threat, and because we can't scale as humans. But at the same time, when you have a lot of like, let's say tier 1 becoming automated, that employee, that professional needs to figure out how to abstract their knowledge base to a slightly higher level. And while the AI is doing a lot of automation, they also need to maintain an understanding of what that automation is actually doing, right? So you have to start from the beginning. There's no 0 to 60 path for somebody. You can't walk into, you can be the smartest person in the world and super book smart and memorize things and be brilliant. But unless you have real world business experience, it's really difficult. So I think that's an opportunity for Cybrary. Like, part of your mission is to push that business interplay between vendors and security solutions to business problems. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, what you're saying is, trying to train up that tier 1 person to actually understand what the AI is doing. It's like, oh, they understand that it's running all of these complex processes and everything, but if they don't really understand why it's doing it or what data it's pulling out, it's not really helpful. And then if a problem does get to them, they're not understanding the base issue itself. They're just kind of going from there.
So we'll expand on that, right? So security risk. A lot of people coming into this industry the last 3 to 5 years or whatever, they've been ingrained by industry, right, that you need visibility. Because we didn't have visibility before, so we didn't know that we were hacked, right? 2013 era or whatever. And so now everybody's like, I need visibility. So they go shop for it. And the analysts, of course, do their thing. And they're like, okay, you need visibility. Okay, I need visibility. The board says, okay, go buy visibility. And you buy visibility. Let's say, hypothetically, you had 100% crystal clear 20/20 vision on visibility.
Okay.
And every single event coming off of your entire network and all your devices and all your people and all your identity, all of the identity aspect of that goes to the cloud. And in the cloud, gets perfect visibility. Okay. And then an analyst receives some kind of a correlated, enriched, vectorized alert that says, okay, something bad happened. Now, if the analyst doesn't have enough business impact experience, like in the field, or doesn't have the training and understanding of the education from the bottom up to understand like the business impact of potential of that alert, they're going to treat it like they treat all the other 10,000 alerts they get in the week. Right? The problem with visibility is if you spend too much time training your employees on getting visibility, you might forget to spend the time to lean forward and prevent all of that from happening before it even goes to the cloud. And we're like, it's almost like we throw up our hands and say, okay, we know we're hacked, we can't keep up, there's too many alerts, there's too much malicious activity in my network, so I want to just see it all. Give me a dashboard, let me see it all integrated and all orchestrated. Okay, great. but you haven't actually moved the needle against the adversary who's moving at like machine speed.
Yeah.
Right? You take a worm like WannaCry or NotPetya, burns through Earth in 2
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Then the signatures come out after 3 days. You already have 10,000 patients, 0 victims.
Yeah.
And what the damage that worm did wasn't the payload. The damage the worm did was the worm itself. With even most of the payloads were corrupted in WannaCry.
Yeah.
And so there you are. You're thinking, okay, I have visibility. I know bad stuff's happening, but I don't know what to do about it because you don't have the basics down.
Yeah. You don't understand kind of the basics like you're talking about.
You didn't label your devices. You don't have device inventory management. You can't use your IT tools because there's an SMB storm. You practically have to dev your way out of that type of an attack, and it's really, really difficult. So anyway, I don't mean to be like on a soapbox, but man, it's so frustrating.
I'll go get one for you so you can stand on. Yeah, we'll get a nice high shot of you. It'll be great.
I think the industry needs a reset, and I don't know exactly what that looks like or means just yet. But honestly, we are headed into this crazy great unknown of noise.
Yeah.
For noise's sake.
Yes.
And very few people are actually trying to solve and figure out, okay, how do I avoid that noise, focus only on signal, and focus on the signal that I know matters in terms of preventing actual impact to the organization. And in that respect, the stuff you guys are doing with MITRE ATT&CK is really, really strong because at least you have the dialogue. You can say, look, we don't have visibility everywhere, but we have it where we know it matters to us as a financial firm or as a hospital.
Yeah.
What can actually harm my patients or the blood bank or the freezers, right? Like that's what matters.
Oh, yeah.
But we never put first things first, and the reason why we don't do it is because we're inundated with the noise we just spent the last 3 years buying in our security stack.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pull back and have the wisdom to reflect upon what you've just spent money on in terms of technology and people and process and focus. What you think is your success criteria as a CISO or as an organization is so often not aligned to protecting the organization from what can cause it actual harm. And I think solving for that is, in the near term, with like things like Bluekeep on the horizon and all the automation that we're seeing in the attack savers, is probably the most important thing right now.
Yeah. Okay, well, great. Thanks. Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me sit down.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice
comfortable chairs.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, it's Cybrary's first booth. This is my first BlackHat, so yeah, I mean, it's turned out really well. So
yeah, good. You guys are killing it. Great booth, great branding, good location. So keep it up.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yep, you too.